Welcome to our discussion on Quote DAH by Meshach Ford. This work intricately weaves together wisdom from previous writings into a sort of philosophical roadmap for making wise life choices.
Yeah, it's almost like a manual for how not to be a fool and how to embrace wisdom, right?
Exactly, it's like, it starts with a very clear preface that sets a professional tone, apologizing for any errors, but stressing that every bit of wisdom, every single verse, is meticulously curated to uplift the reader.
Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating how Ford uses the recurring line, a wise choice is surrounded by wisdom, to anchor the entire work. It's almost like a refrain, isn't it?
Absolutely. That line not only um, encapsulates the central theme, but also reinforces the idea that every decision we make should be guided by understanding and, well, true wisdom learned from both experience and careful observation.
Right. And speaking of decisions, the chapter Don't Be a Fool really lays it out vividly. It warns us against overly premeditated plans and getting entangled with foolish people.
Yeah, it's like Ford is saying, if you set your plan based purely on self knowledge or even your own imagination without practical wisdom, you become vulnerable. You're inviting a
Mm-hmm.
foolish state of mind.
So, it's not only about not being tricked by others, but also about not making yourself an easy target for your own misguided plans.
Exactly. And he dives deep into how laziness feeds into foolish behavior. For example, he compares laziness to a seed that grows into a sin if left unchecked. It really hits hard when you think about the gradual slide from inaction to, well, self sabotage.
Hmm, that metaphor really stands out. But do you think his view on laziness is a bit too harsh? I mean, sometimes it's just a moment of rest.
I get that. But his point is more about chronic laziness, a consistent unwillingness to engage with life's challenges rather than the occasional break. And he ties that to the idea that doing nothing is essentially trading away wisdom.
Right, that makes sense. It's like he wants to encourage a proactive attitude instead of one of passive complacency.
Yeah, and then we shift gears to the chapter on wisdom itself. Ford discusses wisdom as a trade, a kind of exchange where you convert opportunities into knowledge. It's very much about being alert to life's lessons.
Mm-hmm. He seems to emphasize that wisdom isn't just about accumulating facts, but about processing experiences and using them as stepping stones for your future endeavors.
Exactly. He even challenges us to think about how we respond to adversity. For instance, when it comes to facing a fool, he warns against oversharing your knowledge because the fool might actually turn it against you.
Yep, that's a really interesting, albeit somewhat cautious, take on sharing wisdom. It makes you wonder if sometimes too much openness can backfire.
Right. But then again, it's a delicate balance. Ford seems to be saying that, while wisdom is meant to be shared, you have to be strategic about it. Don't let your valuable insights empower those who would misuse them.
Mm-hmm. And he further asserts that wisdom is what transforms knowledge into something actionable. He's saying that without effort, pursuing wisdom is just theoretical.
Yes, exactly. And then we get into wise lesson advice, where the book gets really practical. It talks about how our ancient ancestors passed down techniques for cultivating life knowledge. He's saying that our ability to, well, manage our lives is performance based on our accumulated wisdom and willpower.
Yeah, I really appreciated that part. It's like an homage to the timeless nature of wisdom. Even though the advice seems ancient, it's still quite relevant.
Right? Although I'd say it also serves as a reminder that while the wisdom is age old, we need to actively engage with it. You can't just sit back and assume that, because it's old, it applies automatically.
Mm-hmm. True. And he reinforces that by warning against the pitfalls of doing nothing. Every verse seems to be a call to thoughtful action.
Yes, and then in the chapter Cultivate Life Knowledge, Ford nearly shouts out, Don't say I can't. It's almost like a rallying cry against self doubt. It's about taking charge of your own growth.
Mm-hmm. He uses those mini lessons to illustrate that if you want to cultivate a good life, you need to put in the work and surround yourself with people who uplift you rather than drag you down.
Exactly. And there's a really neat analogy in there, as if even a tiny insect can wake a giant. It underscores the idea that no effort is too small when it comes to self-improvement.
Right. That analogy really got me thinking. It might seem, almost counterintuitive at first, but it makes total sense. Small actions can create big ripples.
Definitely. And what's interesting is that throughout the book, there's a constant interplay between the value of hard work and the importance of self-awareness. He reminds you that while wisdom equips you to, anticipate outcomes better, it's also about knowing yourself and your limits.
Yeah, I noticed too that Ford isn't shy about criticizing foregone alternatives, like copying someone else's idea or relying too much on the glimmer of quick glory. He warns us that these shortcuts usually lead to nothing but, bitter outcomes.
Absolutely, he's firm on that point. It's almost like he respects the journey more than the destination, insisting that true success is born of perseverance and self-reliance.
That makes me wonder, though. Do you think his advice sometimes comes off a bit too rigid? I mean, isn't there room for, experimentation and, even a little messiness in growth?
That's a fair point. I mean, Ford's tone is undeniably strict, perhaps because he's setting a high standard. But I see it more as a caution against complacency rather than a rejection of experimentation. There's a reason why he keeps hammering home the point about don't be a fool.
True, true. Yeah, the intensity can be, a bit daunting. But maybe it's meant to jolt readers into a more proactive mindset, especially in a world where, well, passivity is so common these days.
Exactly. And that intensity also carries through to his insights on reputation, integrity, and the consequences of our actions. Many verses stress that our choices, however trivial they seem, compound over time, for better or worse.
Indeed. It's sort of like a gentle but firm reminder. Your reputation is built one small decision at a time.
Right, and on that note, his take on trust also stands out. He compares trust to a check that's earned by, consistent deeds, unlike a dollar that might be given out more hastily.
That analogy really resonated with me. It emphasizes that trust is a currency that requires work, not just a given.
Exactly. And if you think about it, the entire book is like a meditation on the delicate balance between action, thought, and, well, self-respect. Ford isn't just offering abstract musings. He's crafting a manual for living wisely.
Yeah, I can see that. I love that it's not just theory. There are practical steps embedded in every chapter, even if they sometimes sound a bit, proverbial and stringent.
Yes, and while his advice can seem a bit uncompromising, it does serve as a strong framework for anyone willing to push through mediocrity and aim for a life that's underpinned by genuine wisdom.
Absolutely. So, all in all, what strikes me is that despite its weighty tone, Quote Dutch is, really an invitation to introspection, a call to couple action with deep, enduring insight.
Perfectly put. It's like, each verse is a reminder that your choices matter and that wisdom doesn't come for free. It's earned, patiently, and relentlessly.
And that, I think, is the beauty of Meshach Ford's work. A blend of passionate advice, hard truths, and, practical guidance that dares us to be better.
Exactly. Whether it's about avoiding foolish plans, embracing the grind of cultivating knowledge, or understanding that every moment is an opportunity for growth, Quote Dutch challenges us to never settle for complacency.
Right on. It sure does give you a lot to ponder and apply in every facet of life. Thanks for such an engaging discussion on these timeless lessons.
Thank you, and remember, a wise choice is surrounded by wisdom. So, keep that close as you navigate your day-to-day.
Absolutely.